which is
What?
going to be
Oh.
Rob Benedict, Richard Speight Jr., and the one and only Ruth.
I have questions. I don't understand.
I really like Lost Song. It's experimental jazz, very good tune.
I like to turn this on when I'm cooking for a lady. Put on a little last one.
Here we go.
Nobody makes phone dirty like Ruth Connell. Thank you, boys. Great job.
That was delicious, guys. Let's redo that.
It was delicious. That's the word. That was great.
It's like the White Stripes, but jazzy.
Hi,
I liked it. You didn't like it?
I loved
It's
it.
a no for Rich, guys.
Man, I was the one who called out there screaming La Soie.
Were you?
Practically threw myself with
La Soie.
either La or Soie. It sounds like a French duo.
La Soie.
La Soie.
La Soie.
And now, ce soir,
La Soie. Ruth, this is what you've been missing all
that's the
day.
kind of magic.
Yeah, that's the kind of black magic we do.
Yeah. Good answer, Will. Good answer. Let's just dive into the questions, and we will field those and deliver up some spicy answers. You know what I'm saying? All right. We'll start since they're having. No, we're gonna.
They're in a shambles.
Then what are they doing? They're worried about the light.
Let's look at it over here. Let's do
Why
this.
the panels?
What's your name? Where you're from? What do you want?
Well, we're back 1,000 over here.
Things are going well. Last one.
My name's Rachel. I'm from Minnesota, which is why I'm asking if you guys would be willing to try a Minnesota accent.
As soon as you say it.
Oh gosh, yeah. I like that.
Minnesota.
The Timberwolves, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. It's cold out there. It's cold.
It seems very similar to our Canadian accent.
Well, it is.
Yeah, very close.
That's what we are. We're like a border away.
We are.
Oh yeah. My favorite line in Fargo, the movies, which they go, "Oh, I think I'm gonna barf."
Yeah,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fargo is North Dakota.
Hi, my name is Kenzie. I'm from Wisconsin. I wanted to ask what all your favorite songs are. Or if you don't have a favorite song, favorite music artist.
All time, like favorite song. Favorite song.
Can you narrow it down to one? I mean,
It's
it's
really, it's
You
gonna
can do
be.
multiple. You can do multiple. I have multiple myself. So.
I'll give you one answer, but I can't say that it's one of many.
Oh, yeah, say.
For the sake of time, I can't think what I need to think. I was hoping.
I've got one.
Okay.
Fall on Me by R.E.M.
Great song.
One of my favorites.
Great song.
One of the-
Can you sing a little bit?
No. Rob, sing the moments of Fall on Me.
It's your answer, man.
I'm not going to destroy Fall on Me by caterwauling it out, but it's a great song.
Caterwauling. What a great word. Everybody loves somebody sometimes.
Really? That's your right now for the answer.
I feel like you can't hear that song and not feel something joyful. Or poignant or profound in it. I don't know. I'd like it. It's on it's in my will to be played at my funeral. Not to be morbid.
Good that you know this now, Rob.
Yeah, geez, it's news to me. Follow up. Am I in your will?
You're just about hanging in there.
What is I'm going to embarrass myself. Is that a Sinatra song? Who's
D. Martin.
D. Martin. So while you're still thinking, I will remind you of a story that happened years ago where obviously Loudon Swain, deep musical knowledge, each four of these gentlemen, just deep wells of musical knowledge. Except for we found one little Achilles heel on Billy Moran. When Moran was talking about something. We were talking about, you know, the way you look tonight, or Fly Me to the Moon, or something. Billy's like, oh yeah, it's a great song. I love Bootleg.
Sorry.
And we go, yeah, I mean, yes, he's done that, sure, he did the ballad, but people really think that as a Sinatra track. And he's like, what? I mean, Frank Sinatra, he's like, I didn't know he did that song. Like, one of the songs that is so Sinatra that it's embarrassingly Sinatra. And he's like, but turns out Miranda skipped Sinatra and went right to Buble. Wasn't some Buble. And like some Christmas song came on, he's like, you know, Let It Snow. He's like, Buble. It's just, right, you're like, really not,
You gotta think, how did Buble come up with that?
You said My Way. That's the song you said.
it was something like that. Something very much.
My Way, which was written by Jason Bateman's father-in-law. He wrote My Way.
There you go.
Anyway.
Your buddy Jay? I would say, for the sake of this question, Something by the Beatles. Something in the way she moves. Written by George Harrison, possibly one of the best Beatles songs off their last record. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, hold on. I wanted you to answer because you said you had a couple in your arsenal. What were yours?
I have so many.
Name more than one. I'm interested to know.
How many am I limited to?
Wait,
Three? My mom says three.
Three.
So, Passing Through by Kate and McKay, good song. I like Don't Lose Your Head from Six the Musical. And then also Get Down from Six the Musical.
All right.
What is Six the musical? I don't know this.
Not child appropriate.
Well, I'm not a very good child then. That's upset, right?
I've never seen the actual musical.
It's called Six, like the number 6?
Yes, it's about Henry VIII's 6 wives.
Huh. Are you familiar with this Broadway show?
Vaguely have heard of it, maybe, but I don't know.
I feel like that should be a different category. What's your favorite musical theater song?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I love musical theater, so this is a deep well for me. I would go, I love One from Chorus Line. Like I'm a sucker for the classics. I love Maybe from Annie.
Who Am I from Oliver? Such a beautiful song.
Oh yeah, so great. Oh, and then what's the Eponine song from?
On My Own?
No, that's great too. But when she's dying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that from Les Mis. I love everything from Les Mis, by the way. Just wall to wall. I love. If I Were a Rich Man. The total version, or the who's the other guy who did it made famous? Total
was the OG.
Yeah, and then there was an album version that had somebody else on it. Anyway, it's If I Were a Rich Man is such a great song.
Probably Elaine Page singing Memory from Cats.
Yeah, but I I love that song. Obviously, I didn't like the musical Cats. Like I had a tough time with Cats, and I'm a musical buff. I had a tough time with that.
It's more of a dancer's musical.
Yeah, it was light on story, heavy on theatrics.
See, this is what happens when you ask theater kids.
Man,
I'm a theater kid.
I would love to, like that's a skill I do not have, to be able to be a Broadway musical star would be such a cool.
Amazing.
I think the thing is, we could do it now as like character
thing, 100%.
We could.
But because I watched Alfred Molina do Fiddler on the Roof, and Alfred Molina just talked through all the songs. I mean, he's not a singer; he just sort of like he acted through the song, and so he's still the guy, right?
If I Were a Rich Man.
Kinda, he really was. He didn't try to do too much of the melodicness of it all. And I'm trying to think of what else.
I did the song from Chicago for my at college. Whatever happened to Please May I in class?
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of fun. I'd like to play a role like that in Chicago.
You'd be good at playing, the Carol Burnett from the movie role in Annie.
Oh yeah.
The little girls.
Little girls.
That would be great.
Oh man.
Rob could you could be in a rock musical.
I would love to. I'd love to be. I always wanted to be in the musical music version. Of the movie.
Yeah.
So good. Such a great part too. Yeah, Oliver is for me like I was in Oliver when I was a teenager, so like, I just fell in love with that musical.
Yes.
With the movie, it's an amazing movie.
The movie's so great.
Oscar-winning movie.
Bill Sykes is so scary. Oliver Reed.
Oliver Reed, unbelievable. So yeah.
Thank you for coming to our panel today.
I will say, you know what I would do? You know what I think I could play? But I could do, I don't remember the character's name, but the Master of the House Cat. Because that's
Master of the House.
Master of the House.
Is
Came
it
around the
what he
cage,
says?
you know. It's very character.
As a philosopher in lifelong shit, having little brain, regular voting, thinks he's got a lover, but there's not much there.
Also, I would love to have been the master of ceremonies in Cabaret. When I was a bit younger, perhaps, but yeah.
Welcome and bienvenue, welcome. Je suis enchantée, happy to see you, like a rest. I like musical theater.
Yeah. Clearly,
I feel the most excited of
Well, we keep listening for the question, but we actually asked ourselves the question.
Thank you for
She
letting
gave
us
a couple of musicals, we're like, speaking of musicals.
Thank you anyway. Thank you.
And then we play acted the entire catalog.
Favorite sandwich? I love Broadway. All right, you.
Hello, my name is Maddie. I'm from Hiddink, and my question is for Ruth. Do you think your character Rowena truly cared about Crowley or another person in the show in the end?
It's funny that that's even a question. Yes, I think the conflict is that she cared more than she ever wanted to admit to herself or to him that she did. And eventually we got to see that. And I spent a whole episode trying to, when it was too late, as is often the case when it's too late. So yes. But don't tell, don't tell. Okay. Thank you for your question.
Don't tell Mark. Don't tell Carl.
Hi, Kira here. So I really quickly just need to actually thank everyone in this room. Kenzie is my daughter, and she has had kind of a rough time in middle school. Middle school sucks, we all know that. And so being here and having people come up to her and talk to her has been one of the highlights of my weekend, watching her face brighten up.
That's incredible.
So thank you, everyone. My question is, if you had a line or a quote or something that you could give her to kind of keep in her back pocket when she is kind of having a rough day, something that's not mom saying it, but cool people saying it.
Hey,
I think we do.
in the story, we're cool.
Thank you for billing coming up.
Oh, that should have been cold.
Yeah.
The one I really like is what other people think about you is none of your business. And that means like, let them, whatever, that has nothing to do with you. You be yourself, be who you are. So what other people think you is none of your business. I learned that from Ruth Hall. That's the saying that Ruth Hall.
My advice is always be careful who you take advice from. But one, and it's a tricky one because it's not telling you to be forceful, but be bold and mighty forces will come to your aid, it's Goethe. And being bold can just mean like standing in the lunchroom queue and standing and keeping your space and not crying and running to the bathroom, whatever it is, be bold and bigger forces than you will come to your aid. I think that's true in life. When you do anything that you have to be slightly brave about. That's one of my favorites.
One that I say to my children all the time is be smarter than people who think you're stupid.
Yeah.
And that's a reference to marketing people think you're dumb. That's why they put vapes in an ice cream container. Marketing people think you're dumb. That's why they make Zens taste like candy. Marketing people think you're dumb. That's why they make websites so enticing and social media so enticing. All of it is meant to damage you. All of it. Be smarter than the people who think you're dumb. That's a lesson for all of us. Don't buy into it. You don't need a smartphone on you all the time. you will survive. You don't need to be online all the time. You don't need to follow all the social medias that are out there. You don't need to follow Ruth. You don't need to take the advice of people who don't know who you are and don't care about your health and welfare. You don't need to be smarter than the people who think you do. And thank you for the question.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, go.
Hi, I'm David from Hibbing. This is my dog.
Nice.
This one hasn't finished the show yet.
Okay.
Neither we.
True story.
I just like pointing that out. A couple of things. One, Ruth, I love you when you're on the TV. I love accents. And when you step on, I love your accent. And you're redhead. I like redheads. My wife knows all's well. But I love it from TV.
Same.
And I appreciate the advice you just gave to that girl, because my question for you is actually about waiting. So I have spent all of my grown-up years watching you and waiting. And at first, Calvin really kind of annoyed me, because he's supposed to. But I love watching you as Calvin. But everything else I see you in, including as God, including last night on the concert, there are just mannerisms you have that are just Calvin. So, my question for you, maybe you don't pee your pants, but how much of you was put into the character of Calvin?
I mean, with every character I play, there's always a piece of you that you channel. You know, even when I'm the bad god in season 15. Spoiler alert for your daughter. When I go bad in season 15,
Bad god.
I'm channeling part of my own father, and I'm channeling being a strict dad, but channeling other people I knew that somehow files it's somewhere in my brain. And with Calvin, you know, Calvin, the character of Calvin is super neurotic, again, there's a part of me that's super neurotic, and you just kind of like channel it. You go, oh, I know that. I know who that is. I know that guy, you know? And even if you're not completely that guy, you can embody it because you've got a nugget at you that is a little bit that, you know? So they don't have a problem being in public, but that, you know, I can channel the part of myself that feels self-conscious, you know, that feels like in front of people, I'm like, self-conscious. That's that guy, you know? So yeah, when I do comedy, so I'm sure there are mannerism things that I do that are just me. I'm sure, you know, there are people that they know me as a person, or you know my work, ooh, that's so Rob, you know, to do that. But yeah, in terms of characters like that character, it's just I'm just channeling an insecure, neurotic part of myself. And you know, on that movie, I was working with so many other great comedic actors. It's really fun to play off of. You know, that helps too.
Well, and I think that was part of the thing with you, is that there were so many good actors around you that you really just kind of got left behind. But then the more I watched it, and I watched Waiting too, and I'm like, this man is amazing. Holy hell.
Yeah, I mean, thank you.
I have to say, it's really good to go out for dinner with someone who played a waiter in a really famous movie about waiters, because there's hardly ever we go out for dinner, there's not someone who's like, hey, you know, and you're like, you know, your food's not what's
Yeah, your food's safe.
You know, you're getting good service.
But yeah, man, it was a great opportunity, and again, when you work with great people like that, you step up your game, and we were all peers except for Ryan Reynolds perhaps at that time, and even he wasn't what he is now. So we were all hanging out and all peers, and yeah, and your job as an actor is not to steal the scene. My favorite actors are the ones that you kind of look, the scene's not about them, but they're in the background, and they're just captivating, you know? But you don't want to make it all about you, so you do your thing, you're always that guy, and you know, if it's about you, then it's great, but if it's about someone else, you're still that guy. And
we were talking about, who is it, Sam? What's his name?
Sam Rockwell is a great
Sam
example.
Rockwell.
I love Sam Rockwell. I'm like, one of my favorite things that Sam Rockwell did is, what's the one about the convention?
Galaxy Quest.
Galaxy Quest. And Sam Rockwell plays the guy who's going to tie his named Guy. And if you watch him in the background, all these great actors in the background, Sam Rockwell's I'm like, that's the guy, I want to be that guy, you know? So thank you very much. Glad you liked it.
Hello, I am Percy. I'm from Denver, Minnesota, and I have two really quick things. So my wonderful husband is at home wrangling our 5 children. And when the mom guilt kicked in, he pretty much kicked me out the door and said I had to go. So I don't regret that. But he just wanted me to ask Ruth if she would say fair gift.
If I had $1, I'd have $239. Fergus, 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 Fergus. Fergus, Fergus, Fergus.
And then the second thing is, I went to the Saturday night concert last night, and I absolutely loved Hallelujah. And I was just wondering, since this was my first time, when you go to other conventions and you do that and sing that, does the audience sing like we did last night?
They do. They have started to sing in the last couple of years, but what you guys did last night was kind of off the charts in terms of intensity and uniformity of the whole audience doing it. So that's a pocket. You guys were amazing. Thank you. It's a really spiritual experience to sing that song. Every time Jason and I look at each other like, wow, all right, this is cool. And then if it doesn't, sometimes we play it and they don't, and look at each other like, hang in there. It's okay. Some ladies is just hard as vocal, but Minneapolis was amazing. You guys were great.
Hello, my name is Dana. I'm from the Minneapolis area.
Hi.
You look great.
Thank you, thank you. I'm Aziraphale from Good Omens.
Awesome.
This is Good Omens.
So this is a specific question for Ruth, but if you boys have any thoughts on it, you're welcome to answer as well. Scottish monsters. Do you have a favorite, and do you have any Scottish superstitions? For example, Kelpies.
Yeah, I was going to say Kelpies, and I think they would be great in an episode. If we get a season 16, we can maybe go to Scotland and we get the Kelpies.
What was the Kelpies deal?
So the Kelpies, you've seen the big statues of the horses' heads, but the story is they're virile, handsome young men.
Making her tell the story?
They can be either handsome men or a gross horse and drag you into the water.
Yeah, it's like seahorses, it's like to do with the nature. I like the fact that a lot of Scottish mythology and folklore is to do with nature. My favourite thing with what you're asking me is to tell the story of Bonnie Prince Charlie, who, you know that song. This is the most I've sung in like a long time. You take the high road and I'll take the low road and I'll be in Scotland afore ye. So, the low road in Scotland, what they believe when you die, the low road is your spirit goes down into the ground and under the earth, back to where you were born. And I love that, rather than the spirits are in the air, that the spirits are below us. And so he was saying to his love, probably another soldier, you take the high road, you go over water, you go over land, and he's going to die. I'll take the low road, and I'll get there before you on the Bonnie Banks, because that's where he was born. And I just love, it's so sad and mystical and spiritual and Scottish. So that's my favorite. That's my favorite.
Thank you.
My name is Elizabeth. I'm from here.
Hi.
First of all 3 of you, how are you?
Really good.
I don't want you two to feel left out because my question's for Ruth.
No, that's fine. You mean I'm standing backstage or standing on stage?
I was wondering if you could tell us some of your experience working on Dead Boy Detectives.
Rich could chime in too.
Yeah.
Rich.
So I had this terrible director in episode 7. It was so tough. Everybody who worked on Dead Boy Detectives, we really cared about the show. We're still a little bit heartbroken and still a little bit of disbelief that that's it, that we don't get to do more. because we all really cared. We cared about the show, we cared about the story, we cared about the fact we were making something for young adults that was alternative and spoke to many different types of people. Those stories are important. I loved it, and I just would give anything to be able to do the night nurse again, even with director of episode 7. Oh, good. I forgot.
Which critics?
Do you know the?
Critics say is the best episode of the show. So
I mean, I usually don't agree with the critics, but when they're right, they're right. You know? One of my favorite things is when I was prepping my episode, and it was a very intense production. They were working their keystroke before I arrived, and the DP and first AD had just finished like the night before or whatever they had been doing on a very tough episode. And I come in and discussing my plan as we're going through, and it's very detailed and nuanced, but every time I referred to the night nurse, I would go, yeah, and then we'll have Ruthie go, oh, yeah, I'm over here, it's not here. And then I'd go on and do something else, and I did it again. And then I saw those guys like flop sweating, and they're like, they're thinking, this fucker's getting fired. Like this guy, he's making fun of me, and I'm like, guys, no, I've known Ruth for 15, we're old friends. Like, thank God, we really lost my mind.
Racist to his Scottish people. Oh dear, it was a really special production.
Tragic mistake on the part of Netflix. Tragic mistake.
If you haven't seen it, please go ahead and stream it on Netflix. And
while you can.
While you can.
Yeah.
And tweet them and shout at them lovingly. Thank you for your question. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, thank you. Hi guys!
Hi.
I love all of you, especially you, Ruth. I love redheads. I'm an author, so a lot of my protagonists are covered hair. But my name is Christina. I'm not from Minneapolis, I'm from North Carolina, but I'm going to school, Christian Seminary in Minnesota, so I'm from the seminary.
Seminary.
Yeah, I'm trying to be a pastor, so I identify with Robert.
You seem like you'd be an awesome pastor.
Oh, thank you. My question is for all of you, especially you, Rob. What was it like playing like these powerful characters, especially like God? What was that like for you?
Big shoes to fill. You know, on a show like Supernatural, where all three of us played big entities, you have to try to make it real, and you have to sort of, you know, find the reality in it and play the reality of it. You can't play entity, you know, and it's supernatural, so at the end of the day, you're two people talking. However, what's fun about it is that it gives the drama and the comedy a depth and a breadth that is powerful, almost like doing a Greek tragedy sometimes. I think about season 4, end of 14 and 15, where I'm talking to Sam or I'm talking to Dean, and again, I'm playing strict father, maybe bad father, but you know, I'm channeling that, but in your head too, you're like, fucking God, you know what I mean? And it just gives this weight to the performance that I think is fun to play with. So honestly, I would say it was a big honor. It was a huge honor and a gift to be able to sort of try that on. So it was an honor, and it's finding the reality.
Thank you for the question.
Oh, you're welcome.
Can I ask you a question? Is there ever a temptation to just maybe ignore the fact that you're playing God because it's too much to think about, or you know what I mean? And just like, do you know what I mean? Like,
well, you know, I mean, yes and no. I mean, again, with Supernatural, you know, when I was in season 11, they wrote in things like he's always eating. I was eating popcorn, I'm eating Chinese food, I'm eating pizza. You know, he's like, and that was a fun sort of humanist quality to it. So you're aware of the comedy of that. This is God, and he's like, you know, down in a box of popcorn. Again, I just fell back on strict father. And in season 11, I was father who had been away and now came back and was like, you know, but he was strict when he had to be. You can't play smiting, you know what I mean? But you can play strict dad.
I once played Helen of Troy in a play, which is where I got the Faust quote from, be bold. And it was like, the director said to me, you know, she's an archetype. And I was like, oh, I'm fucked. That's too sorry. And how do you play the art? You know what I mean? It's a hard thing to do, and I think that's where Supernatural did well, where you're playing more the personality. Right?
Again, yeah, you play the human quality. I mean,
Yeah.
I have that scene where Chuck as God talking to Mishu, who's actually Lucifer, right, when he was Cassifer, and we have this scene, and I'm like, kids. They have those humanist lines to like
Right.
teenagers, huh? Am I right?
Making ages jerks and things like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello.
Hi, my name's Marie, and I was wondering, what was your favorite childhood cartoon?
Bugs Bunny. I'm a massive Bugs Bunny Looney Tunes fan.
I also liked Bugs Bunny a lot. Also, there was this cartoon called Johnny Quest. Awesome, you know that. It's cool. Yeah, it was like, I loved Johnny Quest. I just loved Johnny Quest. And again, it felt real to me. But Bugs Bunny is like, I feel like that's where I learned comedy.
Yeah, the same. And Bugs Bunny also predates us. When we were they packaged it for Saturday morning, but it had been made 20 years, like in the 40s and 50s, before you and I were watching TV in 1977. So it was, that's kind of comedy timeless. Like
It's Mel Blanc. I mean, the guy, he did the voices of all those characters.
It's genius. He's genius. Ruth?
So back in the day in Scotland, there were only 3 television channels, and I felt like as a kid I was spending so much of my energy trying to find the Smurfs, and I couldn't find them. They were not always on, and I really wanted to see the Smurfs. I was like 4.
Did you ever find the Smurfs?
I did occasionally find this, and I was like, oh, there's the Smurfs. And sometimes it'd be the Wombles instead, and that's fine, but it's not the Smurfs. But I also really loved the Wombles.
I do not.
So hilarious.
Somebody in the back row laughed.
That's
The
me,
knees
it's
going
It's worth it. I also was obsessed with the movie, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the cartoon movie. And so it was honestly like such a big deal for me as an adult when I got to be in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, because I was obsessed with the cartoon when I was young.
Did you like the lady Smurf? What's her name?
Smurfette.
Smurfette. Did you like Smurfette?
It's like the Smurfs.
Okay.
The Wombles, though.
Wombles. You were so frustrated with your areas.
The Wombles are fantastic because it's really a London thing. It's really like Paddington. You know what I mean? It's like blah blah blah. Hello.
Hi, my question is for Rich. How do you feel about being a third wheel?
Oh, great. I've been a third wheel my whole life. I'm the youngest of 3. So I'm used to it.
Aww. I'm the youngest of 4. Does that make me a 4th?
But that makes sense, right?
That makes a full car.
I'm a unicycle.
You.
Unicycles are hard. Guys, don't worry. Don't worry about our question. Hello.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth, and I'm from Minnesota, and I just want to know, what was your guys' thought process going into auditions?
For anything or for
Anything.
Shit.
It's so different now.
It's very different now. When we started in the business, you'd actually go into a room and you'd give a little performance. It's very nerve-wracking. The worst part is sitting in the waiting room with a whole bunch of dudes who kind of look like you, dress like you, and you go and you get your shot, and it was something you had to perfect back in the 90s when Richard and I got started. And now it's different. Everything's on tape. You send in a tape, you do it from your living room. So it's a different feel. It doesn't have that sort of nervousness, because if you mess up, you just do it again. Nobody sees it.
Which is more like the job itself, honestly.
It is more like the job itself. However, you don't get to see who you're hiring. You don't know what this guy's going to be on set. You don't know.
I don't disagree with you, by the way.
And you don't get to see how people take direction, which that was.
Yeah.
I'm the sort of actor that I don't necessarily, on the page, I don't look like maybe what the characters you think what he might look like. But I can come in the room and kind of convince you that my way is, a kind of a unique, different take on it. And I did really well in rooms with good directors like Richard, who could give me direction, and we could kind of play together, and that's just gone now.
I always equate it to online dating. I never online dated, obviously, but I always feel like that wouldn't have gone well for me. I'm a you gotta meet me guy. And I think in auditions, there's a certain amount of that is true.
And at least for our generation, now it's not like that. So
For me, going into an audition, there's a certain amount of excitement with the nervousness that I like, which is similar to the job where you're kind of on in front of people, and I miss that.
right.
I really miss that excitement as well as I don't miss the nervousness, but I miss the thrill.
Yeah, but now my first thought when I get an audition, my first thought is Ruth available to do off-camera dialogue and film it for me?
Do I have time to learn this?
And if not, is Richard in town to do off-camera dialogue and film it for me?
Thank you for your question.
Thank you, everyone.
Let's do one more. We'll do one more.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Chanda. How are you doing?
Good.
I'll make it quick. So I'm a huge fan of the SPNMinn Now podcast.
Thank you.
I enjoyed when Ruth made a guest star appearance, and I'm sure she'll be back when Marina comes on.
That's
with
good.
Ruth. For you, are you watching along with Rob, and can we maybe hope to hear you on the podcast before Marina comes on the show?
Yeah, I think I was a guest on that. Was I on your then and I was a guest because it was not to do with the episode.
No, we just had you on as a guest
Just a viewer.
Yeah, so I think so. I can't help but see it. It's funny, like you walk through the living room and Misha's on the screen, or a very young Jared and Jensen because it's still season.
Now we're on 7.
So they're getting older. I recognize them more as I walk through the living room, and it's really fun to see how good some of it is. And I'm like, oh, that's why they all like it.
And for those of you that just arrived today and maybe don't know what we're talking about, Rich and I host a podcast. It's called Supernatural Then and Now. We're rewatching the show for the first time, actually. We're watching it for the first time. We watch an episode and then we come on and we interview someone who worked on the episode. We have guest reviewers like Ruth. We talk to Misha, Jared, Jensen, and then
behind the
crew.
scenes facts and figures and mythology. It's a great podcast. It's a great companion piece to the show. In the era where we've lost DVD commentaries, Rob and I are doing a living, breathing commentary for each and every episode with cast and crew involved. The bummer is, I know that finances are tight. And Robbie, where did we land on the cost of this bad boy?
It's free, Richard.
Oh, it's free. So wherever you get podcasts, it's just $0.
$0. You just listen. Just press play.
All right, there you go.
And you gotta say thank you.
Yeah.